Good evening to everybody out there in the podcast world and especially my people out there on Facebook. How y'all doing today? Can you say hi?
Hi.
That's it. That's it. Just
That's
hey.
all I got to
Oh,
say.
okay.
Hi.
Here we are once again with another episode of Things My Mother Never Told Me. And you know, every week we say we got a special guest. Well, they're real special for real
Ooh,
though.
in 3D.
For real though. All right, Jasmine. So your mother is going to read your bio, and then
Yeah.
we're gonna jump in there and ask you some questions. You ready?
As ready as I'll ever be, I guess.
All right.
All right then. All right, we have Jasmin Dixon. She was born and raised in Detroit, Michigan. She is a Pride ML King graduate, Martin Luther King, where she won a women's basketball state championship and earned a scholarship to play Division One basketball at Chicago State University. Jasmine graduated in 2009 with her bachelor's degree in business administration. And in 2010, Jasmine was given the opportunity to play professional basketball in Bosnia. At the height of her career, Jasmine decided to take her talents to law enforcement. In September of 2012, Jasmine started her career at the Illinois State Police Academy. All right. She has served on the Association for of Black Law Enforcement, in parentheses, ABLE, Executive Board as the Region Director. Jasmine served as the chairperson for the ABLE Scholarship Committee in 2018. She is a certified control and arrest tactics instructor, taser instructor, crowd control, and she busy. TAC, ballistics shield operator, juvenile officer, honor guard member, woo woo woo, ISP field training officer, physical fitness inventory monitor, bomb recognition officer, and a surveillance detection officer. Along with all her certifications, Jasmine is the first and only Black female K9 officer for ISP. She has also served on the Executive Protection Unit. Jasmine is not protecting and when Jasmine is not protecting and serving, she is balancing her social life and her true passion, her clothing company, Retrograde Fashion. She started her company in 2012 with a partner, and due to differences, they split ways. After careful consideration and shoves from so many directions, Jasmine started her clothing line again in 2020. Her vision is to branch off from sportswear to create high quality, high end fashion pieces. All right, here we
All right,
go.
Jasmine. That's a whole lot.
That is a whole lot. She busy.
Your mama, right? She didn't know none of that
Ah,
stuff.
well, I was just
Right.
saying, woo.
All right, Jazz. So you know the ropes. You know how this go. First, we want to say, yeah, you went to King. Okay, whatever.
Don't hate.
We'll give you
That's
that.
what I'm saying. Don't hate.
We'll give you that. But I mean, we did have a guest on a couple weeks ago who he went to Cass, but he actually the band director at King now. So he did the Cass King thing too. So let's start with well, you played band. Let's go back a few years. You played professional basketball over in Bosnia before we get to the police thing. Go into that for a minute. You know, your experience over
Oh, it was an experience for sure. Culture shock to say the least,
Mhm.
right? Finally getting to go over there and play obviously was a big deal because a lot of people don't know, or if you do know me, we may have had the conversation. But when I started playing basketball, it was for fun, right? And then eventually I'm like, oh, I'm actually kind of good. Awesome. So how about I get a scholarship so my parents don't have to pay for school?
Yeah, how about
Yeah,
that?
yeah, yeah.
But but my dream was never like if you were to ask me, my dream was never to be like I want to play WNBA, I want to play professional, I want to go overseas. That wasn't something that I really wanted to do. But once I got to college and was actually good, and people were saying, "Oh, you could possibly, go on to the next level." It was one of those things I just kind of worked hard at. So it was an accomplishment, I guess, especially coming from Chicago State to be able to do it,
Right.
right? Because people wouldn't think, or probably never even heard of Chicago State first off, but then going there, people wouldn't think, okay, you'd have the opportunity to go play overseas.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but once I got over there, complete culture shock. nobody really spoke English. I had two teammates that spoke English. One, she had never been to America, and the other one, um, she played in New York, St. John's, maybe. I
Mm,
can't remember per
yeah.
se, but so it was just complete culture shock. I mean, different food. It was a Muslim country, so no pork. Like, how am I supposed to eat my eggs in the morning with no bacon? Um, why do you expect me to eat my eggs without American cheese? Like, 'cause, yes, American cheese, but look, I'm not gonna lie. I didn't know that wasn't a thing that was everywhere,
Yeah,
right?
right, right.
No American cheese. It was a limit on my internet. Like, how am I supposed to? What am I supposed to do if I only have 30 gigs of internet to split with two roommates
Mm.
for the whole month? Like, I mean,
Ooh-wee.
Yeah.
the movies. Like, I think they were like 6+ months behind on movies. I mean, it was, yeah, it was different for sure.
How
Third
about the
world
living
country. Third
quarters?
world country.
The living quarters actually wasn't that bad, but I will tell you. So I get on this 11-hour flight, stop, and I think it may have been another hour, but I had to take a bus, which obviously nobody speaks English, so that was like kind of terrifying at first. We stopped at a place, and they're like, "All right, I'm assuming this is where we use the bathroom, right? It's a building. We're stopping for a break." I go in to use the bathroom, and I go in, I open up the stall, and there's literally a hole in the floor with like little foot foot places for you to put your feet, like little grips. And so the first thing I did is like open the stall back up and looked out. Like, okay, there's women in here, so this isn't the men's bathroom. This is interesting. Um, so luckily at my apartment it wasn't like that. But some of my teammates, when I went and visited, their homes with their families, they had that same toilet. Like, so you got to go number two. You sitting there squatting for a long time.
Old South.
You better be
Old
ready
South
to go,
fashion.
is what I'm saying.
Oh my goodness! I was like, what in the world?
That is interesting. See how blessed we are in America.
Right,
Yes, it made me appreciate everything I have.
right. Well, one thing I want to swivel to, for people who are looking, if you're looking, you see that plot that thing behind her, not the one that say Dixon 10, but the one as we looking at it to her over her right shoulder. That white thing at the bottom. So when she said that she actually was kind of good when she graduated from Chicago State, she was in the top 5 for sure career in every statistic that Chicago State that they kept in basketball. Right, you were number 2 scorer, you were number 2 or 3 rebounder, number 2 assists, you were number 1 in something. I know kind of know something.
Yeah, it's up there.
Yeah, I made that thing. That's why I know.
I don't remember all of them. It seemed like centuries ago, but yeah.
Right, but I'm just saying. So
Yeah.
when you say so we get perspective.
You would definitely recognize
right.
them,
We get perspective. She was definitely right. The career totals, but in the top 5, I was in every category, in the top 2 or 3 and most. So you had a decent career.
Yeah, it was all right.
So you spent that time over in Bosnia and you didn't really want to play pro ball and you definitely got a culture shock. So when you came back home, what made you decide to go in law enforcement?
The real answer is honestly, it was like, yeah, I like helping people, right? A lot of people say that.
Mm-hmm.
But the truth of the matter is, I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do with my career where I could make a decent living for myself, right?
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't have to sit behind a desk, even though now I do a lot. um, so something where, I had different opportunities to do different things because I had never sat at one job, right? I was always jumping from job to job, just trying to make more money.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So something where I wouldn't get bored. I can do something different. And it gave me the same notoriety as being an athlete.
Okay.
And that's the honest truth, right? So people come up to you and you say, "Oh, I'm a police officer." A what? What's the craziest thing you ever seen? What's whatever, right?
Right.
It's just
right.
how it
yeah,
goes.
definitely a conversation piece.
It is
And
definitely a
not
conversation
boring.
starter
Right. Right. So
by any means.
okay. So you for all the wonderful reasons you became a police officer, but most importantly to help people.
Yeah.
And so I'm looking at all the stuff the certification that you have as a police officer and the things that you've done. Talk about that.
So, for whatever reason, I've always been an overachiever. So I get into stuff that I'm interested in and I try to do my best at it, right? So being in law enforcement is like I want to get into every aspect and learn as much as I can. And I've always been into mentoring. So it's like whatever I learn, I want to be able to pass on to other people, right? So I mean, I think the first certification I got was the control and arrest tactics, right? So a lot of the stuff that I've gotten into kind of branches off from there. Um, just teaching people how to defend themselves, right? Not only is it men out there that can protect themselves, but I can protect myself too, right? And I think it's important, especially when you're looking at the academy, females being able to see that there's a female out there that can actually succeed and beat up some guys, right? It's the truth.
Right. Right.
And be able to defend yourself so it can be done.
Right.
Right. And I think it's a different aspect. Like men can say, yeah, you're a female, so people are going to take advantage of you. It's a whole nother thing to be able to say, hey, I'm a female, I've been there. Right. And this stuff will work if you apply it correctly.
Yeah.
And so that's how I kind of got started. So most of it is all literally just a branch off. Like the crowd control is still kind of under the same umbrella. Taser is under that same umbrella. And then, I mean, doing K9, I was obviously definitely under the same umbrella. But everybody who knows me knows I love dogs anyway. So
Right. Yeah. No, y'all saw them pictures of the dogs I put on Facebook. Them were her dogs. So
yeah.
So let me ask you a question. Speaking of the K9, I know you're no longer on that, but so you're the first and only Black female K9 officer for Illinois State Police?
Yes. Yes. It's only been a few of the like males as well, but obviously I like dogs, and it's not a big thing that women get into in general. Let's start there. It's not a lot of women. We've had a few women, maybe 3 or 4, and that's in the most recent years, where women signing up to be a K9 officer. But like, let's be honest, like Black females aren't really signing up to be like, let's be dirty. Let's have to go deal with a dog that may try to bite you, right? Because you're training them from scratch. Like he doesn't know anything, doesn't even know how to sit when you get the dog. So it's not a lot of Black females who go into that. Like a lot of them like to go into investigations and those kind of fields. So nobody's just ever signed up. I'm not sure that anybody will after me, but I mean, it's a possibility, but yeah.
And look, and I'm not trying to go inside drug houses and increase my risk.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to send a dog to, no.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, that has to be I would say exciting, but definitely give you cause for pause working with what the dogs do, because I know the dogs, they sniff for drugs, they sniff for bombs, they sniff.
Yeah, I ain't trying to do that.
Yeah, that's
I wouldn't be trying to do that.
Right. And so
my job already risky. I ain't trying to do that.
Right.
Yeah.
And so so you well, I'm jumping around because you're bomb recognition officer. That's crazy. And honor guard. So talk about the honor guard. Let's get something light and fuzzy.
It's not really light and fuzzy.
Yeah.
So honor guard, when I was in the academy, I was on the color guard, and it kind of got me the introduction. I didn't mention when I chose this career field as well. Like I kind of always wanted to do military. I remember the Marines came and spoke to us when I was at Chicago State, and I'm like, oh, this is so great. I would love to do it. I don't know what the discipline, something about the discipline stands out to me. And my coach at the time, AJ, was like, yeah, that was nice. He came in here to speak, but no, nobody can go into the military, right? You can't sign up. So threw that out the window, right? And so when I got on the state police, just the discipline and the pride that you have for the department, the way you look. I mean, people that lay their lives on the line for, I guess, just the public, right? So that's kind of what made me get into it. Like, so we do the color guard aspect where you're, I'm pretty sure people have seen the color guards at, NFL games or basketball games. So we still have that aspect where people request us to come out because we're pretty disciplined and we're pretty good. We practice a lot. But then there's also the aspect, right? Fallen officers. And I think that's a big piece. And that's why a lot of us actually do it, just to honor fallen officers. Just because who knows, that could be anybody on any given day. And now you have a family without their loved one. And so you kind of want to show that respect and pretty much represent the department and showing how much we care.
You are an essential worker.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So because you have on occasion gone to other states to pay your respects to fallen officers from other states, right?
Yes, that's actually one of the parts of being on the honor guard as well. If somebody passes away in the line of duty, like you typically send somebody to go represent the department and show your respects, help out any way that you can. So I've definitely been to Texas and Iowa. And I mean, usually for us, we don't do municipalities, right? But we do other like state police agencies where we actually go. Yeah.
So let's I don't want to talk about I do want to talk about, but I don't know if you can. What about surveillance detection?
So surveillance detection, it's pretty much a class where you're learning how to point out people that are actually surveying maybe you or your building or your location. It's kind of like, so say for instance, somebody is planning, okay, I want to blow this location up, or I want to commit this crime at this location. Basically you're trained to figure out if maybe something is off about this guy, right? He's doing something that's not right. He's been here too long. He's maybe doing some weird stuff that he shouldn't be doing. Like, why are you here? And so you pretty much trained on how to spot out people that shouldn't be there. And maybe they're basically checking out your location. So then you have to think, okay, where would they set up to look at this location? So from here, I can see that these are weak points, or these are points where people would, I don't know, look to see, or what they thought would be a weak point. And it's pretty much learning how to catch people who are actually doing surveillance on what's supposed to be a secure location, or what you need to be a secure location.
And so
you're a watchman.
Right. And so then you would have to be able to know, or be able to go out for yourself and ascertain which points are weak points.
Yes.
Right. So.
Yep.
And so that you get quick.
No, so pretty much that's what you're doing. You're trying to see what the weak points are and be like, well, if I was watching this looks like a weak point. So somebody's going to maybe be standing somewhere close in this area to watch this location to see just the time. Let's just say, like, when you're dealing with maybe a Secret Service and they're looking at, like, maybe the president comes by this way, or they think they're going to come by this way for some event and that kind of stuff. So you're looking for maybe any weaknesses or what people would think would be weaknesses. So you can catch people maybe in an area and they shouldn't be. Right.
Okay.
Does that tie in with your the executive protection unit?
That was after.
Yes, that was part of it. Yeah. some of the
Right.
training that was offered there. Yep.
Right. So let's talk about that real quick. So when you were at the K9 unit, you left that to go to the executive protection unit, EPU. So talk about that experience.
Well, for what I can say,
Yeah, for what you can say.
um, that was probably one of the highlights too. That was something I really wanted to get into. But it's pretty much, it's almost like Secret Service. You're protecting elected officials and dignitaries from any possible threats,
Mhm.
basically.
Yeah.
Yep. So
And-
I mean, I had a good time. It was fun. Didn't
It
want to
was
leave,
fun.
but yeah.
right, but
I
Mr.
mean,
Stacy,
I'm one of those people. I like discipline. I like the challenging aspects of it,
right,
and
and know that what you're doing is major.
right, it means something.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh yeah, you putting your life on the line as well.
Yes, a lot,
Yeah,
a lot. Yeah.
let's not forget that part. You
Right.
keep me on bended knee.
Yeah. Right. So then the next thing is so you left EPU and then you are now you're at the academy. And so
Yes.
so now you're tasked with what part?
So now I'm with so I'm at the academy. I'm the officer survival training coordinator. It's pretty much I'm in charge of training when it comes to like the kind of like the active shooter stuff. I still help out with the control and arrest tactics. I'm in charge of like the physical fitness portion, um, and the first responder portion where they're teaching you the CPR and how to render aid. And so basically, I'm over those sections, which train obviously the people in the academy
Mm-hmm.
and as well as in service people.
Right. Right.
So in charge of um, the curriculum, right? Helping change curriculum, helping write curriculum, um, and also helping pretty much train everybody. So I do a lot of teaching now as well. So I decided, look, I've had such a broad career so far. Why not bring what I've learned
Mm-hmm.
down to the academy, right? That same mentoring aspect, that mentoring piece.
Yeah,
Right.
especially in times like this.
Right. And I know that you had juvenile officer. You did some of that. And so
Hmm.
what have you what you know what in the I know you have probably had a chance now because of COVID. What opportunities have you had to talk to young people?
At this current moment, not a lot, all right, other than the people that are training. But in the past, I've done several speaking engagements, especially doing K9.
Mm-hmm.
So like when you're a K9 officer, everybody wants to talk to you, right? You're the exciting piece. So you go to all of the events
Mm-hmm.
to help recruit as well as pretty much talk about like we have like these safety education officers who go out and they teach people about safety, the seatbelt safety and not talking to strangers and all of that. And people always ask for the K9 to come for us to do demonstrations because people are going to watch us and actually pay attention. So I've done several events when I was a K9 officer,
Okay.
speaking with people, as well as volunteering for other like recruitment events where we go to high schools and stuff and talk to some of the kids.
And so if you had something, and then we're gonna segue over to the second part of your third part of your journey. Uh, what would you say to young, especially black females, about going into law enforcement if they were even thinking that?
Young black females, I would say do it. I mean, honestly, I haven't regretted my decision at all since I've made it,
Mm-hmm.
right? Just a great career field. I think you learn so much about yourself when it comes to how strong you are, how strong will mentally,
Mm-hmm.
physically, right? And I feel like people need to see more females in law enforcement as well, right?
Right.
We can protect somebody just as much as anybody else, but I would say do it
Yeah.
for sure.
Right.
It was definitely a life changer.
Hey, yes, it was.
I know sometimes
Yeah.
I'm scared of you. If that could happen, you know what I'm saying? I wanted to talk about too that association, the Black Law
Oh, yeah,
Enforcement.
able.
Yeah.
Yeah, talk about
How
it.
did you get here?
So okay, there's a couple different aspects. So with Able, they come and talk to you, right? When you're in the academy and they're like, hey, you guys can come over, we're here to help. So pretty much the organization is there to help you kind of navigate through the career, right? So you have people of all different ranks that are involved. All right, we go out and we still do that mentoring aspect. All right, we do scholarships. Um, we have like it's an annual training that we also do where it's like we're teaching younger troopers who just coming in, hey, these are the different ways to same way navigate. Like this is what the things you need to do to, I guess, stay afloat would be the best word, right? This is how you get promoted. This is how um, you don't get in trouble, how you succeed and accelerate your career, basically.
Oh, okay. Now.
All right. And so are you still, you're not still on the executive board, are you?
I am.
Oh, you are?
Yes, I am.
See, I didn't know that. I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, when people know you don't say no often, they ask you.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do.
Very good, very good.
Don't I know that?
You know what? I remember you had the opportunity to mentor to some high risk young people.
Oh yeah, the camp, the Team
Yeah.
Illinois Youth Camp. One of the man, I loved it. I loved it. So it's a camp. It's down. What is it like Alton or something, Illinois? It's pretty far down, like pretty close to St. Louis, like
Mm-hmm.
10 minutes away from 10,
Mm-hmm.
20 minutes away from St. Louis, the border.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but it's a lot of kids. Like it's been a couple kids now that come that just want to be law enforcement.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but it started as like juveniles who got in trouble. Instead of going to juvenile detention, they would get the judge will make them come basically to the camp.
Okay.
And so it's literally a week-long camp. It's just like our academy. I mean, you got your check-in day, you got people screaming, yelling at you, trying to get that discipline into you. Um, but it's a good time. You can see the difference and just getting to know some of the kids and some of the struggles that they have, right? There's a reason why they're doing some of the things that they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of fulfilling to see how well they do. And then it's still some, what was it? Not too long ago, I did a training for the National Guard for some crowd control stuff. And it was a couple of kids that were in the National Guard that were at this training that have done the youth camp before. And that just shows you how quickly, like, that 1 week interaction can turn somebody's life around.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because a lot of kids.
So,
Yeah, a lot of kids just need to know that somebody really cares about them.
yeah,
It's
definitely.
funny. Right. It's funny because I forgot all about that. It's funny because last week we had a judge from here in Detroit on, and he was talking about mentoring camps and stuff, and how and juvenile offenders and young adult offenders that they came through his court, and they had a program set up to guide, kind of like what you're talking about, guide
Yeah.
them through, and they had certain milestones they had to make to not wind up in jail.
Right. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So that kind of
Yeah.
ties that in.
Yep. As long as they made up all the curriculum that they had to do,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
then
Yep.
and
We
like
have
you
that
said,
classes.
yeah, and if they had a record, it would get what is it? A
Expunge.
sponge. Yeah.
Hmm.
So like you
Yeah.
said,
I mean, it's definitely day in the life because you get up 6 a.m., and you out all day, 6 a.m. PT, and you going to classes. And I mean, we still did some, adventures, some fun stuff too. But like once they start to get that discipline is needed and they start to follow the rules, then you start to ease it up on them and do some fun stuff. But it's a really good experience, definitely.
how long is the camp?
It's 1 week.
It's just 1 week. Oh, okay.
Yep. So they have one down there. They have one in Springfield, and they just put one in the Chicagoland area. I can't remember exactly what the city it is, but
Mm. Well,
Chicago.
I'm glad they just
Chicago,
turn it like you say. I'm
yeah,
glad
that
they
means not Chicago, suburbs. It might be like Kankakee or something, but
All right, Major Payne. Every time I think of him with that. Yeah.
Right.
'Cause he was kind of rough and raunchy at the same time. But funny.
Yeah.
Right.
Effective and very effective.
Effective.
Very
Yes,
effective.
that's the word.
That's right.
Very effective.
Okay, so now we gonna segue. But before we do that, I'm gonna put you on the spot, even though you said what you did.
Go ahead.
I'm about to put you on the spot, even though you said you couldn't have done the what's the name of the show?
Yeah, I
but
gotta
before
look.
we get to that, honey,
What?
See if I
I just want to know how the black man when he's pulled over, how can he save his life? Just being quiet. just
uh, hmm. That's kind of tough. That's a tough one. And the only reason why I say it's tough is because every situation is different, right?
yeah.
Like
Mm-hmm.
how every situation is different. And I don't want to be that guy to just say comply. I mean, because you should. All right. Hmm. I would say, and this is me. I can't say what other people think, but when I pull somebody over,
There
right,
you go.
it's already a high risk situation. All right. When people don't, it's high risk. You don't know what's going to happen. I mean, I'm worried about traffic. I'm worried about some everything, right? If I stopped you, I stopped you for a reason, right? I've had the situation where I go up to a car and people are like, "Oh, you stopped me because I'm black," and I'm like, "No, nope, nope, don't think that I did." Um, so what I would say, it's okay to ask questions, right? But let's make this an easier interaction by just, this is what I stopped you for. This is why we're here. I give you an opportunity to speak. So speak. But it's not, I don't think it's an opportunity to be like, I understand you're upset. Like it's not a comfortable situation to be in. But let's not make this an argument, right? Because everybody is not just stopping you for no reason all the time. And that's the best I have. I can't tell you anything else
Right.
other than that
Mhm.
because I don't know.
Right. Because there ain't no answer to that question.
Yeah, I know
It's
each other
not.
in every situation is different, and we all filter things differently.
Cannot, yeah, I can't Monday night quarterback somebody else's situation.
Mm-hmm.
Right. The only answer is that you comply.
Comply. Okay.
And you keep it as civil as it needs to be. And if nobody escalates the temperature in the room won't temperature won't get escalated. That's the only answer. And it depends on the situation. That's it. So
Yeah.
it so like I said, the show was called Things My Mother Never Told Me. See, your mother just told you something. So what is the what you got? What you got for me? What this woman ain't never told you? Don't put me in this. What my mother never told me.
And don't say anything about
Don't
dad.
say
Huh?
nothing about your father. Your father's a wonderful guy.
And it's her mother.
Hey, this is the name of the show. It's the name of the show. When I told you the name of the show, you went
You
with
ain't
it.
gotta be sticky. Just be open.
When I told you the name of the show, you
Oh
went
my
with it.
goodness.
You said, that's a good
Um,
idea.
That is a good idea.
um, I guess I'll go with hmm. I want to say, I mean, you taught me in some kind of sense, but I'll give some examples. Kind of that doing everything right doesn't always mean that you're gonna always get the outcome that you think it's gonna be, right? Um, so I'll have maybe two examples of that. And the first one would be, right, you taught me, hey, you don't need to get these credit cards. You know, you don't want to charge them up. You don't want to be in debt, right? So I went through all of college. Nope, I'm not taking that credit card. Nope, don't talk to me. I'm not getting any debt. No, I don't need a loan.
Just
All of that, right? Great. It was awesome because I didn't have any debt. But guess what? I got injured in college. And I went to a state school that decided they were not going to pay those medical bills on time. So guess what? My credit was still trashed because it got sent to a collection agency.
Mm.
And then in hindsight, I'm like, man, maybe if I would have got one of them credit cards, maybe it wouldn't have been as bad as not having any credit. If I would have had one. So I had to start over from scratch when I got out of college because my credit was terrible. And I wasn't paying them people because if I paid them, then nobody was going to pay them or they weren't going to pay me back. So,
right. And so if you got the credit card to pay them, guess who'd have been paying that?
y'all. Wouldn't have been me.
Exactly.
Look, they told me you was grown when you moved out. They didn't want me to come back and say bad. You was grown.
Let me just say this real quick. One of our viewers, Deborah Walker, she said, "I don't have a question, but I saw say your accomplishments, determination, are outstanding. I had an uncle in law enforcement who in his day would have loved to be a mentor and loved being a mentor and work aside you." Awesome. So
thank you.
So a shout out.
I appreciate that. I definitely appreciate it.
That's one of my supporters.
Yeah, we love her.
Yeah. Went to school with her. In fact, the gentleman we had on that I told you, the band director at King, he's her cousin, and she recommended him. She recommended him to the show. So that's one. You said you had two examples.
My other example would be career wise, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can do everything that you think is right or go above and beyond. And that doesn't mean that you're going to be promoted, right? It doesn't mean that you're going to take that next step, which there's nothing wrong with that, right? I think we push people down so much because we're like, oh, you're supposed to be in charge and you're supposed to be the CEO and you're supposed to be the top, which nobody is saying you shouldn't aspire to be, but somebody has to be the worker. Just the truth. Somebody has to be the worker, right?
Right.
So, but with that said, like I said, you can work as hard as you want to, right? But that doesn't mean somebody's going to be like, you know what, I want you to run this company or I want you to supervise these people. So those are my two examples.
Right. And on that second one, I would just say that being people of faith, we understand that there's a time and there's a place for everything. So even though your time might not be now, you still got to put that work in, because if you stop, one thing for sure, if you're not working hard, people are going to really hold you to task for that.
Oh yeah.
So you
definitely
right. So the people that are watching you, that may have something for you down the road, they ain't gonna want you because they know you're not doing anything. Because usually our promotions come from people outside of where we are.
And not only
correct.
that, our colleagues, our peers they recognize a lot of the stuff that you're doing, and like you definitely got a whole wide range of talent.
Right. So it's good. But I mean, I'm glad you said that.
And that's because you work hard. So no, you.
I won't. That's just who I am.
Yeah, she inherited most of that.
Oh yeah.
Work hard. Did I?
Yes, you worked hard.
Right.
So I think that was all them doing chores to give me new pairs of shoes.
Oh yeah. Did you know we went?
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't remember none of that. I don't remember none of that. That's probably something your mama had you doing.
Oh.
But that's that. So right, that's a good thing for people to understand is that just because you think you ready for a promotion, and you may well be, but it ain't the time. All things happen in the time they should happen, and they really do.
Oh yeah.
And that should not deter us from still putting in the work.
Yeah, I always feel like if it's not happening in the time that I feel like it should happen, obviously, right? It must be something I still have to prepare myself for before I'm ready for that next level or whatever.
Right.
Exactly.
Right. And so
what's for you is for you.
Right. And so with that, we gonna transition.
Segue
here over to your. You say you balancing your social life and your true passion, which is your clothing company. And see, and the reason why that's so important because you first started that in 2012, and so let's talk about retrograde.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that.
So I'll start like we're saying, when I was growing up, like you guys know, I had so many different passions, so many different ways. I'm like, I don't know where I want to go. I don't know what I'm gonna do. But it's always been kind of the same in the fact that I wanted to be an entrepreneur. Right. So
Mhm.
all through high school, college, I took all these courses that pushed me in that direction. Right. So that I had the business aspect. Like in high school, I had the entrepreneur aspect where I was going through the accounting and the finance courses.
Mhm.
So it's something I always wanted to do. And I don't know if you guys remember, it was funny. I was just having a conversation with PJ, which you guys had on the show
Mhm.
the other night. And she was just talking about how, I was making all these shirts. Like it's a few of our high school photos that we took together where it was shirts that I kind of made. And we had the iron on, the press on,
Right. Right.
the printouts. We used to print on the computer and iron
Mhm.
them on.
Yeah.
So it's something I've been doing forever. And I've always been like a big fan of like customized clothes or stuff that you can't just get in the store and everybody has.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So it's something I was always into. And then 2012, I can't even tell you what made me just jump out on a ledge that particular year. But it was like, you know what? It's time. I think it's time for me, put some of these ideas that I have together and make them available for other people.
Mhm. Keep rolling.
Keep rolling.
Keep
Oh
rolling.
man,
Keep
y'all just
rolling.
want me to
Well,
say
you
so
said
much.
you.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
I
you
thought y'all
keep
had
rolling.
I thought y'all had a follow-up question. It's
Well,
okay.
so in here you said
You had a
you had a
partner.
partner when you started out.
See, look, follow-up question. So, one of the guys I worked with when I was a manager at Finish Line, we kind of got together, and actually he made that logo,
Mm,
um,
I remember that.
Quentin. So we kind of got together because he was a graphic design um, major in school.
Okay.
So he was doing all the graphic design. He knew how to do um, Illustrator and Photoshop and all of that stuff,
Mhm.
and that wasn't my thing, right? I can draw out a design. I can give you every detail of it. I can piece it together, but actually putting it into Illustrator is like foreign to me,
Mhm.
or it was at the time.
Mhm.
So, and he's really big into fashion. Like he's like super. He loves the New York Fashion Week and all of that.
Oh,
So
okay. Yeah, you really into it.
yeah. So I mean, still to this day, he posts all of that stuff. So we kind of got together and was like, hey, let's do this, right? Like, not only do I want you to do this graphic design piece, but how about we get together and make it work? Um, so it was cool at first, right? We had our differences in style wise, right? Which isn't bad because everybody likes different things.
Right.
So we started with that piece, and then it was kind of like, I guess, the selling aspect. Like he was more into the design and not the selling aspect.
Right.
Um, which the marketing piece and all that can be a lot.
Mhm.
Um, and so we just were on different pages with some stuff. And so I kind of just took it over. I'm like, hey, I'll pay you for the logo, I'll pay you for design work still whenever I need it. And then we kind of split ways. And then when I started, so 2012 is when I started it. I got with the state police. I did my academy. I'm out, I'm in training. I get the overtime and I'm like, oh, I love all of this. And so it started to be a lot for me.
Right.
A lot, a lot, a lot. So that's when I kind of like broke off from it for a little bit. And then I ended up starting it back, right? Pandemic, we all got a lot of time. I'm drawing down designs and I still have designs and people still are like, I mean, mom, that one you got on there was from 2012, right?
Mhm.
Right.
People are still like, wait, let me get that. I like this. Or, people telling me you're ahead of your time. You're so good. Why did you stop doing it? Um, and so that's why I got back into it. Um, and we're pretty much just going from there, right? Just trying to, I broke off, I got the sportswear where it's the t-shirts and the hoodies and the sweatsuits, but I'm kind of like in the process of, I'm in the process of trying to get with some manufacturers and start making some more um, from scratch
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
pieces as opposed to like the t-shirts and the hoodies. And
Yeah, some
I'm
customized
still gonna
high
keep I'm
quality.
still gonna keep the jerseys. All the jerseys are also like from scratch. I did get some manufacturers with those.
Right.
Um, and had those made. So
Okay. Because I don't know if anybody, if you any of you guys remember on the podcast a while back. It's been a while now. I had on a hockey jersey, and Jasmine designed that for Brandis's podcast. And then I have she did this hoodie that I have on, and also I have a T-shirt that I'm waiting to put it out, but it's like a real good time to get it going. I want to make some changes to it, but it's the Unity shirt that I have. Jasmine put that together for me, so I go to her for get my stuff with my ideas. I take them to her, and she gets them put into motion. So she's
I try.
right. Well, right. Well, we work on it as long as we can get it going. We work on it. Let's
Yeah.
see. Leanne says, for people looking to step out and follow their dreams while maintaining a 9 to 5 job, how do you manage your time to stay productive in both planner or mental notes? What's the question? So how do you maintain a 9 to 5 and do your own thing?
It can be a lot, right? So pretty much I go to work, I do what I got to do. I make sure that stuff is done. And then when you come home, it's just you don't have time to rest. Honestly, that's the truth of the matter. It's one of those things where it's hard work, right? You got to stay on top of yourself and be motivated. I think entrepreneurship, like everybody's telling you, go out, get an LLC, start a business. This is the time, but it's just not for everybody.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Like you've had other people on here before that say, I mean, it's hard work, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it takes up a lot of your time. Like
Mm-hmm.
in order to get stuff done, sometimes you gotta skip that sleep, right? Or you gotta get less sleep.
Right.
You gotta plan. Like I do mental notes, but I'm not great at mental notes. Just because there's always a million things going on.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. It's always a million things going on. And like for me, I'm nonstop maybe thinking, okay, there's a design, and I'm thinking of this design, and I'm like, this is gonna be the one, this is great. But if I don't write it down, I can almost guarantee you, I don't care how great I think it is, I'll look up 2 or 3 days later and I'll be like, man, I had a great idea. Where did it go?
I know.
Why didn't I write it down?
Let me say this to you. Write them down, because you talking about 2-3 days later. I'm talking about 2 or 3 hours later.
Mm-hmm.
I have a great idea. And if I don't, and matter of fact, 10 minutes later, if I don't write it down, it's gone, because so much stuff is going on in my head. And so many thoughts are coming on.
Yeah.
And so
yeah,
it's right.
And when you write it down, you remember it.
Right.
And you can always go back to it.
Right.
And all the good ideas, they always come at like the wrong time, right? I'm driving down the expressway, like, oh,
yes.
Look,
I'm in the middle of doing something else. I'm like, oh, that's so good.
And I have to get up.
All right, I'll write it down later.
Right.
Yeah.
And later something else comes up, and So for folks, that was a great question, Leanne. For folks who are listening and wondering, I'm telling you firsthand, if you have a great idea, write it down as soon as it comes in your head.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would say write it down. I mean, even if you have like maybe an invention you're thinking of, look, go try to patent that thing, because somebody else thinking of the same stuff or it's gonna come out. Man. I know it's a million people that's like, man, I thought you think of whatever, you don't do anything with it, and you look up and it's into production and it's doing big.
By somebody else.
I thought about that.
Yeah.
They stole my idea.
Right.
That's what we was talking about that with Brad, is about the t-shirt. It's just so many people make t-shirts, but yours still different. You know what I'm saying? You can still make a business from it.
You can. I mean, because it's somebody that thinks like you, right? Or somebody that likes your style. And I mean, that's another big piece of why I got into it. Like everybody, oh, you dress so nice, you put this and that together. Or, the main thing where people be like, well, I mean, that'll probably look good on you, right? Because they can't picture it for themselves, because they don't have that. And it's kind of like bridging that gap.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, I know. I've been there. I'm telling you.
Right. So you said that you want to, because I know that a lot of your stuff, you only do so many, and that's it. You're done with.
Yes. I only do small quantities, just because, like, who wants something everybody else has? Mm-hmm. Right? If everybody has it, like, it's nothing unique about it. So I try to produce everything in small quantities where it's like, you know, once you got it, everybody's not going to have it. Like, yeah, it'll be a few people that have it, but you can't go look and find it everywhere.
Mhm.
All right. So that's the idea behind it.
Yep, and this is a big world.
Yeah.
Well, I know your hockey jersey. There's a whole lot of them here in Detroit.
Well, you guys did buy those up.
well,
Bought them up.
well, it was for Brandon's podcast, but when I
Yeah.
saw it, I thought it was kind of slick. So, and I, you know,
Yeah,
it was,
you also thought I didn't make it.
right. It was so funny. I want everybody to hear this because it was so funny. When I saw it, I thought, oh, that's nice. That's a hockey jersey. And I thought did she just put some stuff on a hockey jersey? And then when we went and visited one day, I saw the renderings where you actually drew it and put everything together and told her how you want it done. And so it was like you took it from scratch. And so then I said, oh, wait a minute. Okay, so she got something going on here. So she's doing stuff and it's original. And we know that some things no matter how original they are, there's still something similar to it.
Yeah.
Similar to it, but yeah, it's totally original. So that's why I had to have it. that's
Yeah.
why I had to have that piece because
Mhm.
So yeah, cool.
Beautiful.
And that's why when I have ideas about stuff, that's why I always send them to you. What you think about it? Okay, cool. Talk to your people and let's see we can make it happen. Because I know you're busy, but you always got time for me.
Yeah.
Of course.
And I do.
Somehow I have time for a lot of people.
I like the brand that's run here. It's got the raised letter,
Yeah.
and I know they can't see it, but it's really nice.
Yeah, the Chanel letter.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah, this is nice. And this one was a big seller too, wasn't it? In the different
Yeah.
colors and
Yeah, I had several different colors. And then I always try to I have a reasonable price point, but I always try to make sure that it's some high quality stuff, right? I don't want to use the $2 sweatshirt
right.
that doesn't feel good. You put it on, it's not good. It don't feel good up against your skin. I want something to be like, okay, I want to wear this over and over and over because it's comfortable.
Right.
Mhm.
Exactly.
And I like when you go out there on your link also, it's just like you going out to a Nordstrom's or what's the name that you can just click right on it. You got all the description. You got. I just love it. So
Yes,
that's
it's all about the
professional quality.
experience.
Yeah.
It's the experience.
Yeah, I was tripping when I got an email survey. Oh, this is a professional outfit.
I know, and I like when it comes with the cars. And, you have your cars in there, and I'm just saying it's just a whole new. It's a professional experience for real.
Yeah. So
Definitely.
right. So if you had something that you would say to folks that you haven't said already, what would it be about anything that we talked about?
I think I pretty much covered everything, but I would just like to reiterate, whatever your passion is, all right, there's nothing wrong with following that. And everything isn't going to be an overnight success, right? It's a grind.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a grind. Like even in my career, it's not like I'm gonna come out and everybody be like, oh, that's Jasmin. She's the greatest thing that ever happened, right? You got to actually work towards that.
Mm-hmm.
So put in the time for whatever it is. Put in the time, work hard, and then you'll see results, right?
Yes, you will.
You will.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And on that point, because I always got to toot my own horn when I say this stuff. It's like, and to her point, for those who don't know, because she was saying like somebody thinking like you. I can honestly say that book that Steve Harvey wrote, that made him all the millions of dollars. Almost everything in that book, I was telling people for free 30 years ago. The only thing I didn't know, probably the main thing that I didn't have in there was a 90-day rule. I ain't had no rules in there like that, but I had something that was similar to it. And so the point is that all the wonderful things running through your head, if you keep them in your head, you'll be frowning when somebody else put them on the street.
Mm-hmm. And they're in your head for a reason.
And make money off of it while you still got it in your head.
Yeah.
You're here for a reason.
You got any more?
Definitely.
You got any more questions, Andy?
No, obviously, like she said, she covered everything. I was just elated that you. I was alerted at the last minute that you were going to be our guest.
Oh, surprise, surprise.
Surprise.
it wasn't that last minute.
It was, yeah, but it was still,
Right.
yeah. I was like, oh, she's coming up already. And like you said, it's an honorable job, it's a service job. And we
Mhm.
already know the Lord said that's the biggest title that you could ever have, and that is to serve,
Right.
to be a servant.
Right. Without a doubt.
Yeah.
And so,
A good servant.
Oh yeah, last thing. Let me say,
okay, here we
go www.retrograde-fashion, all right, .com. That's the website. You can also follow my Instagram page is Retrograde Fashion LLC.
Yeah, Brandis posted that.
Oh, well, I can't see all that. Appreciate you, Brandis.
Right.
Oh.
And so I'll say to you, just keep doing what you're doing. Keep grinding, keep working, and victory right around the corner. Right
Oh,
around
yeah.
the corner.
It's like prayer. You can pray today, but it might not manifest to the future.
Right.
Yeah, but
And hopefully,
like you said, you'll be able to pass it on.
right. Hopefully by the time weather break, I'll have a jacket ain't nobody else gonna have.
Oh yeah, you and me
It's
too.
in the works. It's in the
Yeah,
works.
yeah.
I know. I'm looking forward to it.
It's like them shirts I had done. The things my mom never told me shirts only me, Tina, and me, your mother, and Brandis have.
Mhm.
Anybody else got those? And we got
That
some
exclusive.
exclusive.
Yes.
Exclusive. We got some other stuff we got to work on too, though. But I'm gonna let you do your thing. But I got ideas. I got ideas.
Now he got ideas.
He always got
Always got
ideas.
Always got ideas.
And he gonna make sure that you know he got ideas.
Got ideas.
And he gonna follow up with those ideas.
Got ideas.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got stuff we got to do.
It's called parents.
So that's how.
Yeah.
That's the part I exert to get my ideas pushed through.
Yeah. Parents.
But-
Parenting.
right. Yeah. But the ideas,
Oh, my goodness.
the ideas is from one business person to another.
Well, thank you for being a blessing.
Yeah.
That's all I can say.
That's right.
I'm very proud of you. Thank you for being a blessing.
Yep. Keep
Thank
working.
you.
Keep grinding. Smack major flat here for me.
Oh my goodness.
Well, we really appreciate you and taking the time out to be on the podcast.
Right.
And
All right.
we enjoyed you.
I enjoyed being here.
All right. Take care, guys.
All right.
All right, see ya.
Have a good evening. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.